school-based administrators walking through the classroom, and the differences in the test scores of the students. Those are the three components that make up an evaluation of a teacher. If a teacher scores a
Is that better,
one,
Daniel?
they're put on an evaluation or an improvement plan.
Or Daniel?
So they had a 1 or 2.
Yes, so better.
They're released
Okay.
in the school district. They have to perform. It's a performance-based budget. If you put students into a classroom that are not performing, that's 1/3 of the evaluation of a teacher that no longer exists. That means the best they can do is become a 3 or 4 or a 5. If they're a 3, they get a raise. If they're 4, they get a raise and a small bonus. If they're 5, they get a raise and a larger bonus. That's the way the system works. So putting poor performing students in accelerated classes doesn't do very much for a teacher, if you think about it. Regarding professional development, what we're talking about, the programs we're talking about are not being offered to students. They're being offered to teachers in the form of professional development. And what does that do? That trickles down into the classroom through their actions. School board policy 3242 addresses the board's duty in regards to professional development. It basically says that they have to analyze the content. Content is defined as any material used in professional development on an annual basis and approve it. Last time this board approved or revised that policy was in 2019. This board, the current board, is the one that approved.
21 people watching on Zoom.
That's important to understand.
How many people?
21.
That's about
Yep.
all I have to say, other than.
The chat is,
Laura?
We don't get raises based on evaluations anymore. There's no more performance pay.
And foundation in this book basically pits one class against another. Whether bourgeoisie.
Dude, I think you should just mute everybody from the admin standpoint because it isn't a debate.
Get a riff or a
Mute
revolution.
I don't know.
Creates a scenario of oppressors and oppressed. That's in this book. This book is a Marxist book. It should not be in our schools, and I vehemently oppose it being used. That's enough for me though, because I just like to talk. Sometimes I do that. But Arlene is a retired attorney, and actually, I did forget one thing that I was going to say. Her family came over from Russia in the 1880s, and they were very poor. They lived in Brooklyn, New York. She became an attorney at the age of 50. She went back to school, got her JD, and became an attorney. I'm very proud of her. She overcame her poverty. She overcame her situation. And I earnestly believe that anybody in America who puts effort into what they do and apply themselves can be successful. That's what makes America great. And I honestly believe that. And with that, I'll give you Arlene Lights.
But I'm going to continue sitting. I'm having trouble with my legs today, and I would rather not fall. So I'm going to stay seated here. I had this put up on the television because everything that I'm going to be talking about is related to closing the achievement gap. There are 3 programs that I'm going to be talking about. One is a detracking program, and 2 of them are training programs. These programs that I'm going to be talking about are already ubiquitous over the whole country. I was amazed when I started doing the analysis here to find out really
That's
what's
not me.
going on and where it's going on.
It's me,
It's all over.
are you on your
And
phone?
we as adults never knew this. This just hit us, and I think it was because of COVID and watching things on television. And of course, what's been going on at the federal level with implementing a lot of social things. So this is an eye-opener for me. Another reason that I wanted to put this up there, this achievement gap brings in a lot of money to schools, both state money and federal money. So school districts are looking programs and things that they can do to what they're calling close the achievement gap. The last thing that why I want to put this up there now is that you understand that closing the achievement gap is a very easy way to infuse critical race theory. It's an easy way to do it. Is money being thrown in to achieve that, state and federal? It's something that's all over now. So one place sees, well, they're doing it over there, I'll do it over here, and let's get the money in. So that's why that's there. Next slide, slide 2, please. What is the achievement gap? I tried to make this as short as possible to try to keep it within a half hour. But the couple of times that I did speak, I've had comments, well, it sounds like it's just your opinion of things. So I have a couple of things here, whether it's a definition or I got it from an article. I'm not going to tell you where I got it from. If you want to know the site, the citation, I have it all here, and I'll be happy to let you know at the end of the meeting. I don't want to take the time to read all of them, but I want to give you, okay, right now I want to tell you what the achievement gap is. The achievement gap in education refers to the disparity in academic performance between groups of students. The achievement gap shows up in grades, standardized test scores, course selection, dropout rates, and college completion rates, among other success measures. It is often used to describe the troubling gaps between African American and Hispanic students and at the lower end of the performance scale and their non-Hispanic white peers, and the similar academic disparity between students from low-income families and those who are better off. In the past decade, though, scholars and policymakers have begun to focus increasing attention on other achievement gaps, such as those based on sex, English language proficiency, and learning disabilities. One more, very short one. The achievement gap refers to any significant and persistent disparity in academic performance of educational attainment between different groups of students, such as white students and minorities. For example, of students from higher income and lower income households. Next slide, slide 3, please.
Sue, the chat has been disabled, so we can't type in there.
To reduce the
Oh,
achievement
really?
gap.
Oh,
One
fix
is
that.
a collaborative agreement with equal opportunity schools. That's
Okay,
the
are you
D
trying to
tracker.
type in the
D
message
tracker.
area?
The other two are
It says
training
type
programs.
message here.
One is called Crucial
Yeah, it says chat is disabled.
Equity in Education.
Okay, let me see what's going on.
Sue, just going through the admin and just on disable the chat. Tina, are you the one trying to access the chat?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do here.
In AP, IB, and ACE
Yeah,
classes,
that's trying to access the chat.
color and low-income students, while transforming school culture and adult mindsets, engages school and district leaders in their equity journey through a community of practice, equity leader laboratories, and equity teams. That's in place now. I'm not sure about the labs, the equal leader labs. That I'm not sure, but the equity teams are in place. I'll get to that in a while. Crucial Conversations for faculty and staff trains teachers, faculty, and staff how to have conversations about equity without offending others or getting others defensive. So there's a training program on that. So obviously there's something about equity that turns people off. So they're teaching you how to get around that. Okay, the last one, equity in education.
People are saying they can't chat.
Again, the training
I know, I've been
manual.
trying to fix that.
It's for training staff and faculty, and the training manual itself is directed towards teachers and it's affecting and influencing students' learning by and through equity, again, collaborative teaching, and critical race theory principles. That's this book here, and we'll get into that also. Next slide 4, please. What is critical race theory? There are so many definitions of it, so many. The one basic thing that you can take out of that is oppressor and oppressed. But I'm going to give you a couple of definitions just so we're clear on that. Critical race theory is an intellectual movement and loosely organized framework of legal analysis based on the premise that race is not a natural, biological, grounded feature of physically distinct subgroups of human beings. That incredible? Okay. But a socially constructed, culturally invented category that is used to oppress and exploit people of color. Critical race theory theorists hold that the law and legal institutions in the United States are inherently racist insofar as they function to create and maintain social, economic, and political inequalities between whites and non-whites, especially African Americans. This is what we're dealing with. On this one. Critical race theory is an academic framework centered on the idea that racism is systemic and not just demonstrated by individual people with prejudices. The theory holds that racial inequality is woven into legal systems and negatively affects people of color with their schools, doctors' offices, the criminal justice system, and countless other parts of life. Next slide 5, please. Okay, so now we should get a definition of equity. We're talking about equity quite a bit. We should have a little discussion on that. This is all like a preamble to what's going on in the school. These are definitional and things like that. Okay, equity in education is when every student receives the resources needed to acquire the basic work skills of reading, writing, and simple arithmetic. It measures educational success in society by its outcome. Outcome, not the resources put into it. When the goal is to divide people by color of their skin, putting people into groups and stereotyping and prejudicing, when you're teaching that you must take from one group of people and give to another to ensure equal outcome, that's what critical race theory does, and that's what they're teaching. By the way, that's what detracting is. It's taking people from one group, the lower performing groups, and putting them into the higher ones. That's the AP classes, the IB classes, and the ACE classes. Now, my husband just told you how teachers are remunerated, how they're getting paid and how their bonuses are. We'll get to that, but it is so unbelievable to think that standards would not be lowered in those classes. Not only is the teacher's salary or evaluation based on it, but the bonuses are based on it also. Okay, so I think now we are on 6. Slide 6, please. Action for equity. There's 2 approaches to detracking, and that's exactly what this company, Equal Opportunity Schools, is doing, detracking. There's 2 approaches. One is to advance all students in an honors for all class approach, and New York is doing that. Or 2, slows the curriculum down, arguing that it will benefit advanced students by helping them to truly absorb math concepts and build a stronger foundation. This is being done across the country. It really, it's incredible that we did not know this. I have some, when people find out about these things, they have a voice and they use the voice. I have some things that are going on right now as of July. So we're a couple of days into August, okay. An emotional and racially charged debate over whether to sort students into higher and lower tracks that has unfolded in school districts across the country in recent years is now underway on its biggest stage yet. The state of California considers a new math framework. Advocates for the new California math guidelines say detracking or mixing together students of varying academic performance can help all students, particularly those who have languished in lower level classes. It can also unravel racial segregation inside schools. Okay, so when the parents in California heard this, they said, no way, this is not what we want. I can tell you that putting advanced students with average students or below average students in one class doesn't work, said one mother. Speaking of her daughter, she's a gifted child. One father said his son never fit in school until he found the advanced math program. Stop the assault on excellence. You don't lift people by bringing other people down. Okay, so what happened there? It's still being discussed, but they've already lowered that. I don't know, I don't have any of the new information, because that was maybe 10 days ago. So I don't know what's happening there. I do know that they're revising it. It's not going to be as strict as they had originally planned. They claim to be attacking white supremacy with the detracking, but really they're attacking meritocracy. Now the push for diversity, equity, and inclusion is expanding beyond universities to virtually every aspect of American life. Schools are abolishing programs for gifted and talented students and lowering standards to get failing students to pass. For the sake of equity, we are dumbing down the best and the brightest. And they're doing that in our district also. Just so you know, New York has done away with merit and meritocracy for their AP classes totally, and is now using a lottery system to determine which students will attend the AP classes. Slide 7, please. Okay, critical race theory, support for equal opportunity schools. The support that the company itself is suggesting and is offering to us, and we're taking, is equity teams, equity in education training, this, and they also offer, but I did not see it, so I can't say we have it, is the equity learning labs. Next slide, 8, please. 22 schools have equity teams in them. I have the names, which I got through my Freedom of Information request. If anyone wants to see, you can come up to me afterwards, because I'm not going to read every one of the names. I'm going to try very hard to keep this under a half hour. Here's the names. I got this directly from the school. We're saving for the questions for afterwards. A lot of this information I'm putting up here now is because one of the current school board members, Jimmy Lodato, kept insisting, this doesn't exist, I'm making it up. He doesn't know where I got the information from. He was offered an opportunity to see this. He was offered, I got this, all of this from the school district. He could actually have seen it, didn't want to, just kept really hounding me on that. So bear with me, because this is important to me. This is my credibility. This is what I take through life. Everything I have documented here, and it's in writing. It is in writing. So I really wish that Jimmy Lodato at one point will come and see this. And then I think we're up to next slide, 9, please, 9. As I was just saying, I got this information from the Freedom of Information Act. It's in writing. It's here. That's on the board there. I'm sure it's too small to see, but anyone can come up to me and see it. What I wanted to show you in here, it says attached, this is the response I got from the school district. Attached, you will find the response to your information request. There is also a manual that you can review if you would like to come into the district office. Let me know if you're interested. So I called her up and I said, yeah, I'm interested, but I don't want to just review it. I want to have it. I want to keep it. She said, it'll cost you $31. I said, you got it. I'll come in either later today or tomorrow. I came in the next day. I have my receipt. So Jimmy can't say that I got it from some store someplace or online. I got it from the school district. Anyone wants to see my receipt? I have my receipt in here from the school district. Now, the two attachments are what I really want to talk about. Here we go. It starts off with this equal opportunity schools. This is what they, in the summer of 2019, the school board approved the purchase of the equity in education training, not the equal opportunity schools program. This is what they said. The school the school board approved a collaboration agreement with equal opportunity schools to increase participation rates in AP, IB, and ACE classes for all races and income levels. Data supports the academic intensity of the high school curriculum, largely attributes to post-secondary success. EOS, which is for Equal Opportunity Schools, also seeks to support student success in courses measured by grades, exam taking rates, and exam pass rates. Finally, EOS works to cultivate positive experiences of belonging and support in AP, IB, and ACE courses. In collaboration with EOS, high schools hope to close the equity gap. That's the same as the achievement gap. Hope to close, which is impossible because people are individuals, close the equity gap for underrepresented students in advanced level classes. The number of students enrolled in AP and IB courses in the high school stands to increase significantly. So folks, okay, then on the second page of the attachment, they talk about equity training. Okay, equity training is given under professional developments, which my husband mentioned to you, that the school board should have reviewed this and see what it was. And the funding, again, is from the ESSER and CARES funding. So this is federal money coming in. This is, it's unbelievable. The amount of money thrown in, people don't look at what, well, we got the money, let's spend it, or whatever. Okay, so the professional development on equity topics has been offered for staff only. This is faculty and staff. There's no training for students. This one, the actual EOS that's in the AP classes is not curriculum, so they get away with that. See, it's going in through the back door. It's not curriculum, it's still the AP class, it's still the IB class, and it's still the ACE classes. Of course, you know, it's only realistic to assume that standards are going to go down. And I don't say that lightly, but this is the teacher's income, it's the teacher's bonuses, and I don't know how there won't be some slippage in standards, and maybe a lot. Okay, so they're talking about this, and this is what what they say in writing to me before I purchased this, Franklin Covey's professional development, the impact journey, equity in education, which includes the cost of consultation and participation guides, which is this, and the appropriate shipping costs will be funded. Yes, we know that. There's federal money here. This equity training will be an opportunity for selected teachers and administrators to examine how they form their student expectations, how their behaviors communicate their expectations, and how these behaviors impact their students. At the close of the equity training, teachers will be able to focus on their circle of influence, increase their self-awareness about how their respective life experiences impact their interactions with students, communicate their high expectation for all students, and build authentic relationships with students in order to support successful learning. The training supports the work of the Achievement Gap Committee, which focuses on problem solving and supporting subgroups that all fall under federal index. It's all wrapped up in this achievement gap. That's my opinion. I don't want to give points. Okay, so I think we're on to slide 11. This I got is from the Equal Opportunity Schools. It's a 4-phase program. The first one being access, opportunity, experience, the second experience success, the third extended equity, and the fourth one is sustained equity. I know for sure they've already done this. I know that they have done surveys to get all of those subgroups that they want and to start analyzing that. How much further they got, I don't know. So I doubt if they actually started the program and putting these students into these advanced classes or not. But if we don't speak up and if we don't stop this craziness now, we're going to lose this country. We're going to lose the next generation. This is really important stuff. This is really important stuff. Slide 12, please. Oh, slide 12 was this. Okay. Next 13, that's it. Leave that 13 on there. That's the equity in education. Okay, can we do slide 13, please? Okay, that's it. Okay. The equity model that's in this book, this is right from the book. This is right from this manual. It's 3 prongs to get to here. It's the self-awareness, it's the high expectations, and authentic relationships. Self-awareness. This is for teachers. This is for teachers. I can increase my self-awareness about how our respective life experiences impact my interactions with students. High expectations. I can communicate my high expectations to all students. Authentic relationships. I can build authentic relationships with students to support successful learning. Okay, next slide, 14. This again is a copy from the book, but you can't read it, so we've typed it out over here. Throughout the book, they call minority students minoritized students, and they even give the definition. Minority. Minority is a noun. It refers to a person who is part of a group that makes up less than half of the total population. Minoritized, that's a verb. It refers to mistreatment and prejudice resulting from situation outside one's control. People who are minoritized have less power or representation than members of other groups in this society. Clearly, this is oppressed and oppressor. And throughout this training guide, they refer to these minority groups as minoritized students. Slide 15, please. Oh, they don't like meritocracy or merit at all. This training program does not like that. They do give the definition of it. Meritocracy, a social system in which success and status in life depend primarily on an individual's talents, abilities, and effort. That is, people advance on the basis of their own merits. I was brought up that way, and I think a lot of people, they think this is wrong. Slide 16, please. Slide 16, right from the book. The myth of meritocracy. Merit is a myth. And why is it a myth? Here we go. Slide 17, please. In the back of this book, in this training manual, there are cards, talking point cards for the teachers. They're color coded, and by the way, here's my receipt that I purchased it from the school district. No, I won't go to. These are the cards. Anyone can see them if they want to come up afterwards. Okay, so what do the cards say? The talking points that the teachers are going to talk about to the minoritized students. Okay, it starts out with meritocracy is a belief that our social system is one in which success and status in life depend primarily on the individual's talents, abilities, and efforts, that people advance on the basis of their merits. Now, what is the impact of this? Only a narrow range of intelligence is honored. It undermines growth mindsets and collaborative instruction practices and emotional belongings. That's why we have to discount and not use merit and meritocracy. Got it? Merit and meritocracy is bad. Slide 18, please. You really can't believe this. It really is. Okay, one of the pages in the book is all through the book also, they really heavily want to have collaborative learning. From what I get from collaborative learning is you mix all the groups together and you come up with things. Then on the one side of it, on the gray side of this, is a thumbs down group. On the green side is a thumbs up group. On the thumbs down side, if you look at the third one down, it says the right answer. That's the wrong thing. That's a thumbs down. You don't ask for a right answer because you're going to get a thumbs down. But if you look right over to the other side of it, the collaborative learning side, what do? You don't ask for a right answer. You get a goal or a defined outcome. That's what's instead of a right answer. Yeah, make this up, folks. Next slide, 20, please. Again, from the book. Barriers to equity. Okay, this is from the book. The only ones I'm going to go into is the dominant cultural differences. Okay, so these are barriers to equity: assimilation, colorblindness, meritocracy. Slide 21, please. Now we're going to the cards again, where it had assimilation. Reject assimilation. Assimilation is bad. Assimilation is the belief that minority groups should subvert their behaviors, attitudes, and customs, values, languages, and other narratives to align with the norms of the dominant culture. And what's the impact of this? Learning becomes less relevant for the student whose cultural identity is not recognized. It's a misattribution of success. When successful, The minoritized students are seen as overcoming their culture. That's why you have to reject assimilation. Slide 22, please. The other thing that they said on there, you have to combat colorblindness. Again, another one of the talking point cards. Don't embrace colorblindness. That's bad. Don't embrace it. Combat it. Colorblindness is the misguided belief that moving past racial discrimination is just seeing people as they are. This allows the dominant race to ignore the ongoing inequalities, racism, and adversity minoritized races experience. And what's the impact? It supports, because colorblindness supports the idea of meritocracy, so it has to be bad. It supports the idea of meritocracy as inaccurate message that everyone has equal access to opportunity. It perpetuates a deficit mindset about students and families. Can't make it up. Slide 23, please. This is an author, quite often quoted in the references in here. As teachers of culturally diverse students, we need to educate ourselves about the realities of structural racialization in society and recognizing how colorblindness is just another form of implicit bias. Slide 24, please. Again, I really wish Jimmy Lodato was here because I have a lot of proof here that came from the school district itself, from Freedom of Information. I have here the this slide and slide 26 are who approved the purchase of this book for the two sessions that were already given, 2 sessions. So for the one that was in October, the session that was held in October of 2020, on the 5th, Teresa Ketchum approved it. And on the 6th, Gina Mikoleka and Janet Alfano approved it. For the February 2021 session on this, all of them approved it on February 10th. Teresa Ketchum, Gina Mikoleka, Lathita Boris, and Janet Alfano. That's 26. 27, please. These are the 27 is a purchase order. This is the actual purchase order from the school district. 100 manuals were purchased for the October session and at a cost of $6,711. That's this. Slide 28, please. This is the purchase order for the February 2021 session of this one. 50 of these manuals were purchased at a cost of $5,147.42. Slide 29, please. Now, Jimmy said that he spoke to Jimmy Lodato on the school board now. He spoke to a teacher, and the teacher said she never took these sessions. Therefore, these sessions were never given. Well, so then I said, okay, I put in another request under Freedom of Information, and what happened? I got the sign-in sheets, folks. 29, which is here, and I think these are all, and 30. You can go to 30. And 31 are all the sign-in sheets. There's about 70 some odd people who went there. I don't know the names. These sign-in sheets had on the left-hand side, they had the printed name of the attendee, the signature of the attendee, and the initials of the attendee if they got a manual. And all the way on the right-hand side, either their title or the school that they were from. So Jimmy Lodato course was given, it was given. I think we're up to 33 now, which is the February 12th, 2021 session. And again, it's the same thing. We have it. This one was only 30 some odd people who attended this one. Now, these were professional development. Okay, and the last one up is again just a picture of the book here. I try to make this as brief as possible, so I cut out a lot, so things didn't gel. You can see me afterwards, or if you think it, please come and see me. I try to cut out as much as I could. I didn't think people would want to sit through all of this. I try to keep it to a half hour. So we can have questions now, if anyone wants questions.
Before we get to that, just a little bit, critical race theory, think about it. Equity, equal outcomes for everybody. No assimilation, keeping people in separate subgroups, separate categories. South Americans, Hispanics, South Americans, Mexicans, people from Peru, wherever it happens to be, not keeping us as one nation under God. No merit in meritocracy. So it doesn't pay to strive and do anything because you're not going to be rewarded for it. Creating a commonality where everybody is the same. And what is that? To me, that's communism. And I am against that. So at this point, we'll take a couple questions. August 10th, before we get started, is the next school board meeting. 6 o'clock at 919 North Broad Street in Brooksville. I'm going to have Danielle Underwood visit us by Zoom, hopefully, if we can get her to speak. I hope they work the bug out. And she'll talk a little bit about that procedure, but basically, if you go to the meeting, it starts at 6, you fill out a citizen's comment card in the beginning, and then at the end of the meeting, they'll ask everybody for their comments. We'd like to get a lot of people. The more people we get there to voice an objection to these kind of trainings, the better it'll be. Just one other thing, this also goes by a different name. It goes by transformative social emotional learning. Whatever the hell that is. What they want to do is they want to transform the country socially and emotionally. And that's what that's all about. So we'll take questions, please.
Yes.
In the back.
Okay, Charlie.
If I can't see what I'm looking at.
I didn't have a question, I just wanted to see. Equity in schools,
Time out.
equity in schools, think about it. Equity in baseball. Everybody plays, at the end of the game, it's a tie score. Nobody wins. When their salaries come out, everybody gets the same salary. Meritocracy in baseball. The better players get more money. The teams, the better teams, go to the top, play in the playoffs, World Series. Okay? This is what's happening to the schools. When you have equity in schools or equity in baseball, you need equality in schools and equality in baseball. Equality, not equity. Equity means it's a dumbing down of the society in schools, dumbing down and teaching. Nobody wins. It's a Marxist idea. It's been around for a long time. It's been in colleges and universities. They've been debating it for years. Now they have an opportunity. They're trying to bring it into the local schools. Put it down.
Thank you.
Didn't Governor DeSantis sign an executive order that they're not able to?
Yes, he signed, but what that is curriculum. This is what I mean by getting around it. by creeping in the back door. This is not curriculum. This is not curriculum. The detracking is not curriculum because they're saying that the AP classes is the AP class. They didn't change the curriculum for it. What they'll probably do is reduce the standards, but that's not changing the curriculum. And that's sneaky. That is sneaky. It's going around it and it's going in the back door.
Just unplug it. I'm not gonna use it. Turn it off, put it away.
Those list of schools you have, were they Hernando County schools?
Yes.
Everything is
Hernando
Hernando
County.
County. Every one of those schools, everything we're talking about is Hernando County. Yes, ma'am, Bob?
Hi, I'm Nadine. I have 4 daughters. Of course, they're not a school age anymore. But out of the 4 daughters, my youngest one is now working on her doctorate. The other 3 didn't really care too much about education. So if she was still in school today, she's a very successful woman for 28 years old. If she didn't do the AP and she was an IB student, graduated with honors, what would she be doing a schlup job today?
Good afternoon. I'd just like to address a couple things. And I did contact to see if there would be any other viewpoint. You said that yes, there would be, as long as we said be polite, but then you said no, that this is not a debate. There won't be another viewpoint offered. I also wanted to know if Ms. Villadotto was invited to come here tonight, the night that you guys first, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm sorry to begin with.
This was an open invitation to everyone, open to everyone. It was not given to any one person specifically. There were posters that were put out, there were emails that were sent out. So he certainly could have had the opportunity to come.
The evening, I listened to the broadcast the evening that he was
Just read the
talking.
chats
when
and
he was
just tell me
saying
if there's
he was
anything
hammering
wrong.
critical race theory, and he said that's not taught. We never did address, we never did speak if this was, which it is. And the one thing about this, and I'd love to speak to anybody who would, this benefits every kid in Hernando County. You guys keep hammering that it's about race, it's about race. Marginalized students are also students that are physically and mentally handicapped. They're kids of color, they're kids that come from low socioeconomic backgrounds. When you ask about authentic relationships, there was an issue about a girl when she graduated and her valedictorian speech said, hey, why didn't there build a relationship? To build authentic relationships is just that. If you want a student to learn, if you want a student to trust you, just like any other human, you meet them where they stand. When you say color blindness, when you say you're colorblind, then you take away the color of that child's skin. That child is a person of color, and they should be represented as such. Assimilation. When people come here, they become Americans or they become, I'm a Canadian who's been here since 1970 because my parents brought me. I do these things, but I still hold true my values and the things, the rituals that I had as a Canadian. Assimilation, we went with that with the Native Americans when we put them in schools to assimilate when we took them from care. That's what we're trying to do away with, not assimilation. You meet a child where it lives, where it stands. I am a person of color, or I am low socioeconomic. You meet that child where it stands, where it lives, it will trust you and it will learn from you. Mediocrity that they're talking about is talking about, don't just take because you've got a kid that does really, really well. There might be another kid that would do just as well if you looked at the other things involved in his life. They're not going to take an AP class away. They're not going to take those standards away. A child would still have to meet those standards to be in them, but that child, maybe it learns from another way. We've learned this all through teaching that let's talk about other ways they learn. Some kids.
Can I address that?
Please.
Okay. What I'm talking about with this is clearly, and in the information I got from the school district to support the detracking. What I'm saying is this is not the place to do it. What we should be doing, maybe it is the best thing that we can do to try to reduce, because we can't eliminate, reduce that achievement gap, but start down in elementary school. That's where maybe there are kids that come from a broken home. Then this is for advanced classes. This is not for, this is here, you wanna take a look at what I got from the students?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I.
Sure, come up afterwards.
We just addressed
This
that.
is for the detracking. This is for the detracking. That's not the place to do that. If you want to help out students, minority students, you start where it has the most effect, and that's in the elementary school. You don't start at the top where you have AP classes and IB classes and ACE classes. I'm sorry, that's not the right place to do it.
4 years ago, the meeting ladies in the elementary school. They brought the children in Pine Grove Elementary. After 1 year, had a 60% reduction in behavioral incidents, and GPA of the school went up 3 points. The answer is not always putting these people into better classes. It's helping them when they have a lot of weakness. One of the weaknesses they have, and a lot of people who are poor performing, is that social economic, where they're single parent households. That's where the help has to come from. Not by adjusting the curriculum so they perform better.
Okay, next question.
Well, I actually have 2 comments to make. My grandchildren went to Challenger, and they're currently in Challenger. And when they first started out, Sue Stoops was the principal of the school, everything was run so smoothly. They had 70% of, you would do your own portfolio to get in. 70%. Then I believe we went to equity, because suddenly we went down to 30% portfolio, and now we're up to 70% lottery. Now, too bad for us parents and grandparents who work so hard to get their children into the better schools. And so are they rewarded? Well, we stand behind them. We have to do 40 hours of volunteer work. We have to. So now the parents, and I get it. When I moved here, they had buses, okay, in 1988. They were busing from Brooksville to West Side, and my children, mingled right in and absolutely loved the children from Brooksville, okay? Well, then they progressed to middle school, but whatever. So now I would like to know, so the parents that actually do perform cannot be rewarded. Okay, that's one subject. The other one is my granddaughter is currently in the IB program in Springstead. She's loving it. And you know what? She doesn't care. I can tell you this. She doesn't care what color you are. She wants to be an anesthesiologist. Good for her. So please don't dummy her down. Okay. Springstead's the only one with the IB program. I want her to succeed. And they're in every high school. Every high school has the IB program. I don't think so. Springstead has it. So let's not dummy down that school, please. I want her to advance. She doesn't care what color anybody's skin is. And she doesn't really want to be, she's not all about making somebody feel happy. I'll help you do your homework today, because, that's what they want us to be taught in there. She wants to succeed. We want her to succeed. We're proud of her. Leave it all alone. And, I'm ashamed of Jimmy Lodato, and I'm a personal friend of his. And it's a real shame that this has come down to this yet. We're not fighting it. I wish you would tell us what we have to do, and we'll be there to do it, especially when my children are involved in the school system.
Well, we'll try to have a plan to come out of this.
Well, from my own experience, I've seen that advanced students who are high achieving, they're that way because they want to see something new. They want to see something interesting. They want to see how things interconnect. Now, if you take this student, you put him in a lower achieving class, and he's rehashing stuff you heard about 2 years ago, they lose interest, they drop out, and they just don't want to hear it anymore. Now, on the news the other day, I found out that the international ratings, America rates about 8th in reading and 30th in math, because we're losing those high achievers, those that want to be challenged, they want something new, something interesting. And China, by the way, they're #1 in all categories. So schools are being dumbed down. You get a high advancing student, you have to challenge them. Show them something new, something interesting that they can get involved in. They're not getting that if they get going to a class and rehashing all stuff.
My name's Brett Benson. I'm with Team America LLC, and I would like to ask, what is your proposed solution? Electing Mr. Johnson? Or what is your plan to address this? A lot of us already know a lot about this stuff, and a little bit more better information sharing might have helped in some cases. Well, what's your plan?
I said right from the beginning, we were gonna leave time at the end to work out a plan. What I did with the presentation is what's happening. Now we have to work on a plan. We certainly can, and we have someone that will call in, it's at home now, who has experience with actually planning things like this. And I think we can come up with something here that we can achieve something, and we'll do that. But let me answer the question first. And Bob, you want to answer?
Whether, I think the whole board has to be replaced. That's the answer. It's not electing, it's replacing the whole board. You have 3 women on the school board that are all former teachers. The last 3 years, the teachers got a 3.75% raise, a 4.25% raise, and a 4% raise. Then they came back and said, oh my God, we can't give anybody, the new teachers a 47.5% off, tell them how to pay. Our teachers are overpaid? Not at all. Are they underpaid? Most definitely. There's only so many pennies in a dollar. They said, gee, we need 1 mil. We passed the 1 mil, passed by 62%, and needed 60% to pass. Think about this. They said they're going to take half of that 1 mil and give it for teachers' raises. That's $5 million. Built into this year's budget is $4.6 million for raises. You add that together, you're giving teachers a $9 million raise. There's 1,500 teachers. That's a $6,000 raise if it goes level across the board. If you count all employees in the school district, it's little under 3,000. You're talking about a raise of $3,000 per individual in the school district. They did not need that 1 mil. That was a sham to get more money out of us. That's another different subject.
My question is, the individuals that were trained 2 sessions, they were a variety of employees of the school district, or they were just administrators?
I think,
or
I think,
teachers?
I don't know names, but I think most of them were the equity team. There was some, I know Gina Mikulicka was in both of those. I saw her name, and that's the only name I really recognized. But I did see from where they said where they were from, there were a couple that were psychologists. So there were definitely,
Minno's okay jumping, but no.
I don't know if any of the equity team are teachers.
He's gonna end up hurting his leg again, and it just healed. You got anything out of the car?
All I wanted was proof. Just wanted proof definite that the sessions were held, and that's why I got the signing. Question is.
So what did they want to teach us about the equality?
Yeah, that saying,
Blackout guys, they're all with money.
no.
Lisa, please mute yourself.
Target now for that, when you say they're going to have children come into the program, that maybe the child didn't think about taking English for whatever reason, but a teacher feels they have the ability, the discipline, and the bandwidth to do it. Is there a specific number, a target that they've set, or is this what you're concerned about? This is what's going to happen.
What they set is a target to reduce the achievement gap, which is how the different subgroups function. It's 5 groups: it's whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asian, and ESC and special needs. And the white and the Asian students perform at a very high level. Black, Hispanic, and ESC perform lower. What they want to try to do is get performance of the lower students up or high as the white. That is the goal. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the 30-point difference between the Asians and the whites versus the black and Hispanic population.
Well, I think what you were asking though is, was there a percentage that they wanted to put into in other words, what percentage is detracking? I have some information. I know they did the survey. They were looking for special minoritized students to put in there. I don't know exactly what they were, what it was. My focus was primarily on the training sessions, but then I started reading all this other literature that got poured on me to look at about detracking, and it's all over the universe here in this country. This detracking is, it seems like almost every single advanced class is being detracked. I don't know what the status is right now for our district.
You have to understand that don't keep her busy doing something else to start getting stuff to do.
I just want to say something in response to this woman here, I forget her name, the blonde. I totally get, don't we all wish our kids could become doctors, lawyers, etc. But we're not all able to be. And I say that we can all be what we want to be, but you got to work hard for it. It can't be handed to you, because if somebody's put in 8 classes that didn't work to get there, I don't know about anybody else, but I wouldn't want them to be my surgeon. And then talk about someone of color is Dr. Ben Carson. Look at him, he grew up poor, but he worked hard, and she's not even listening tonight. Joanne, and I'm me, I'm no team. I came here to learn, I learned a lot. But I'm an American first of Italian descent. And yes, we learn at home. That's when we learn our morals and our things that teachers and schools shouldn't teach. Period. End of sentence. That's how it is. I loved Tilly. She looked at me and said, look at my fingers in her broken Italian. They're all different. Those are your children. Not all of them can be doctors and lawyers and all those things. Somebody needs to be a ditch digger. Somebody needs to do that job. And as long as they do that job well and are happy in that job, and they love and take care of their family and are there for them, that's all you can want to do. You don't want more. I'm an American first. The woman over there kept saying she's Canadian. Are you Canadian? Are you American? From Spain. I'm adopted in Spanish by birth, raised Italian. Couldn't get any more Goomba than that. So everybody needs to be an individual. And this is awful because you're right. It circumvents the meaning of what we stand for. And I nowhere saw in the Constitution equity. I saw equality, but I'm not saying.
Well, we'll take this gentleman in the back and then we're going to.
We have some time here.
Steve Goodwin here in Brooksville. I appreciate what you're doing, Arlene. And I know that the Hernando Sun has put 2 of my articles in. And I believe that communication is vital. The pen is mightier than the sword. And I believe that if people can get together and everybody's saying, what can we do? What can we do? We have the power to do a lot. And I'm thinking maybe if we can get a billboard on, so people, they look at stuff on the internet, but mainly it's conservatives against liberals, and a lot of people aren't seeing the other stuff. I'm thinking a billboard where everybody can see it. Stop CRT, stop the socialist movement. I would love to talk to somebody. We'll get together, get some money up, let's get a billboard. Let's tell the people.
This meeting right here has cost me and my husband approximately $500. out of our pocket. So this is not cheap. What we can do, really, if anyone wants to help us defray this cost, that's fine. But we can do things that don't cost, and that means going to the school board meetings. But we'll, after we get a few more questions.
The first, one of the things, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. One of the things we can do is show up and ask at the school board meeting, so we don't want this. And there's ways to do that. If you do it respectfully and properly, you get stopped. Yes.
So we're from Minnesota, and last year
We don't have any other cameras on.
For our sons, and one of the things they're teaching kids is gender identity. So we had to take a survey last year. It's no joke. You can ask my husband because we called the school district, but we yelled at them and would not allow we would not allow them to do that. But in the state of Minnesota, they want the kids to gender identify themselves.
True, I agree. I'm from Minnesota too. Yeah, right here. Yeah, they did that. I did daycare.
On that note,
That is something that they're teaching the kids in Minnesota is gender identity.
Yeah.
And that is wrong. That should be not taught in schools.
one of our granddaughters lives in Virginia. And my daughter is a teacher. She teaches in Maryland. She lives in Virginia on the coast. Comes home and the granddaughter says, "Mom, I'm gender fluid." And my daughter says, "Oh, okay. What does that mean?" She says, "Well, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like a girl. I'm a girl. And when I go to school in the afternoon, I want to play baseball. I'm a boy. And at night, I'm a girl again." And then she came home, and after about 3 weeks, that was all done with. It was forgotten. She's back to being a normal self. There was one last person, Bob. Jerry, standing up.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Jerry Legal. I happen to have an advanced degree in engineering. When I went to school at a very nice university, there were about 4,000 students in engineering. There were I can probably count the females and the blacks on my two hands. That has changed tremendously, and we need to recognize that through a lot of trouble, a lot of work by a lot of people, we've reached a point where color blindness is a positive process. I understand that not everybody agrees to that. My bottom line is, you know what you want to do? First thing you got to do is educate yourselves, because the words are slippery. The people who are underlying this and building these things are they're college professors, past masters, and saying things in ways that sound great until you get into what's underneath it. What are they expecting? And by the way, the school that I graduated from now has almost as many female engineering students as there are men. Is that a good thing? I think it's absolutely terrific. But we had to, as a society, outgrow biases and so on. A lot of those have been accomplished. There is still more to be done. We can make it happen, but it's not just stand up and yell. You have to be able to counter the people that you have an honest disagreement with your own facts. So do the studies, find out what you really believe, and then speak out about it. That's my.
All right, Sue, is Danielle ready?
Yeah, Danielle's here.
You get her up? We're going to talk about what to do. As I alluded to, one of the best ways to do it is to go to the school board.
Ready, Danielle?
And say, hey, we don't want this.
I am.
We don't agree with it. We don't want it in the schools. By the way, there is a Parents' Bill of Rights that was passed as law. You read through that, there's a lot of things you can't do in the school district. The school district doesn't want you to know about. You can request the material that's being taught to your students now. If you don't, you can pull a child out of the class. So take a look at the Bill of Rights. Go ahead. Is she ready?
No, she's ready. I need a mic. Okay, let's see if we can hear you.
Can you?
Conduit is under the weather. She has bronchitis. She's had COVID. Thank goodness. And she organizes a lot of people, a lot of action at the school board. She's very versed in what can be done and how to do it.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear? Can you hear?
Can anybody hear me?
Go ahead, Danielle.
Can you guys hear me?
I don't know if it's on.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
All right, everybody can hear me then?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So I just want to thank Arlene and Mark tonight. Arlene, you've done an amazing job getting all of the information that you've gotten and doing all the public records requests. It takes a whole lot of work and a whole lot of braveness to do that. So for all the people who sit and say, well, how do we know this is true, and question everything you've done, the braveness that you've taken to go ahead and do all these public records requests and get all the information that you've gotten just goes to show where the information's coming from and how true it is, and you shouldn't have to prove yourself. So good job, Arlene. Thank you for everything you've done, and in collaboration with working with everybody, we really appreciate everything you've done. United we stand for the content of character and against critical race theory. I have been in numerous webinars and groups with different groups that formed across the nation, such as Freedom Works and different packs that are put together to do a lot of research and figure out where our nation is headed in all school districts, not just Hernando County, but all across Florida. And in doing that, I have a couple links that I'm going to share onto Fix Hernando Schools. So if anybody's in Fix Hernando Schools, you're more than welcome to go on there and get these links. They are long. The first one is 46 pages long. It's a how-to guide for activists in combating anti-American CRT. It will tell you everything about the issues, how to engage, sample social media things, how to write letters. It'll give you all the contents on what to do to become involved, what to look for, how to find the information you need, and then what to do with that information, where to take it to, how to solve this. I heard one of the questions say that we needed solutions. Power comes in numbers. Arlene can't do this by herself. She has done all the research on the information. So now it's time that everybody steps up and stands beside her and with her and stand to the power of this and try to fix it with solutions. Number one, we have iReady, which is a curriculum that is approved by the state. So we all need to stand up and go to the state and let them know that this iReady has critical race theory in it. There are gender-based exercises. There are race exercises in there. There's different lessons that are focused on critical race theory. So if everybody just stands up and unites together and works on this together, we can get these programs out. But we need our board members on board. And that means it's going to take power in numbers to go to the board meetings and to hassle them about this and to get them to stop and maybe look at different curriculums. It also means contacting the State Board of Education and our legislators and all of those people, because they're the ones that approve that curriculum to be able to be used anywhere in the state of Florida. So this one document's 46 pages long, all about critical race theory. It'll teach you what to do and how to handle everything and different samples of things. The other document I have is quite lengthy also. It's 36 pages, but this one here is for people who are just getting involved. If you are just getting involved and you need to go to a school board meeting and you're not sure how to do that, this is a guide for parents and concerned citizens on how to go to a school board meeting, what to look for, how to speak at a school board meeting, sample speeches. If you decide to run for school board, what it takes to run for school board, alternative curriculum, how to write letters, ways to engage your school board. There's all different things in this. My suggestion to you is, I've been doing this for 6 years now. I'm an activist throughout Florida. I'm also an advocate throughout Florida. And you need to stand up. You need to show up at every board meeting, not just when you're concerned about one thing and then that one thing disappears. There's many other things also. So show up, fill out your green card if you're speaking on something that's on the agenda in Hernando County. Fill out the pink form if you're speaking on something that's not on the agenda. And you get 3 minutes. Keep yourself respectful. Go up there, you speak, you tell them exactly what you're thinking, what you want fixed, your solutions. You need to make yourself known. The power comes in numbers. So stand up and make sure you research who's running for school board and how you can make a change on that school board. We need to flip that school board around. I want to thank everybody for your time. Again, Mark and Arlene, thank you. And I will be sharing these links in Fix Hernando Schools for anybody that needs them. If you're not in that group, just contact Mark, myself, or Pam Everett, and we'll be able to get you those links.
Thank you, Danielle.
A Facebook page called Fix Hernando Schools. That's where you'll find the link she was referring to. Pam Everett, is here. She's running for the school board also in a different district. We're not opposing each other. We actually both agree on what's being said tonight. So next thing we need to do is determine how we're gonna present a plan of action. What I would like to see is everybody turn up on August 10th, 6 o'clock at the school district and say, we don't want this. This is bad for our kids. And as Danielle was saying, when you walk into the meeting room, there's pink slips and green ones. Fill out a pink slip saying you want to speak on it and put down your professional development and critical race theory or in transformative social emotional learning. Put it down. We don't want that. They should respect the wishes and take it out of the program. It doesn't have to be taught. There's other ways to achieve what they want to do, which is noble and should be done. And nobody's saying that people of color don't deserve a chance. Everybody has the same opportunity. Everybody goes to kindergarten. Everybody goes to the first and second grades. If the home life is not the problem, then maybe we got to look and examine the problem and offer solutions in the background and help them get past that. We were involved in the Boys and Girls Club. I'm now digressing a little bit. Back in 2009 or so, they had what they called a power hour, an after-school program. When the kids came to the Boys and Girls Club after school, they spent an hour doing homework on computers, and they had a tutor available, and they learned. After that, they went into organized activities, whether it was arts and crafts or portfolio. They learned a steady study habit, something a lot of times kids aren't getting at home. There's ways to handle problems where you don't have to reinvent the wheel 110%.
Well, let me just say something. I think it would be best, I would like to see a show of hands. It sounds like some of you here have children in the AP class or the IB class or the ACE classes. I think those parents should talk. I would like as many of the people here to go to that August 10th meeting. But in terms of what you're going to say and what you're going to ask to change, I think the ones that are that have students in those advanced classes should focus in on, we don't want what's called detracking. We don't like that equal opportunity schools program. We are against the equal opportunity schools program. We think it will harm our students. So those parents should focus on that. I think other parents can focus on, this is something that, why do we need to train people on how to talk about equity? What's wrong with equity? We don't like that you have to be taught how to speak about something because it might be offensive. Don't say anything if it might be offensive. That's the way to approach that. With this one, why do we need to have this? We shouldn't have to need this because it's supporting, look at all the support that you're giving to this instead of giving it to, let's say, the elementary school children that need help. And that's another approach that people can say. Don't start with trying to reduce the achievement gap at the high school level. Start doing that at the elementary school level. That's a good approach. So there's a number of things that we could talk about where not everybody is speaking about the exact same thing.
All right, so how many people feel are able to come and attend the meeting next? Okay,
Oh, I'd like to see more. Come on now. Come on.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Right across from Cloverleaf.
Across from Cloverleaf, 919 North Broad Street is the address of it. 919 North Broad Street, 6 p.m. is the school board meeting. We show up in numbers. They'll know that there's more than one person involved, and they'll take action. They'll look at it. I was on the board before. They will take action.
So really think about which areas you want to discuss. And so that not everybody is saying just, I'm against critical race theory. Try to be a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit specific. Talk about the equal opportunity schools, talk about the crucial conversations, talk about the equity in education. There's so many things that you can say.
I feel like there needs to be more meetings. There needs to be more done to create more awareness in the community. There's a lot of people who really don't have a clue what is going on.
That's so true. That is, I am available. Mark and I are available to speak to any group. I can't keep spending, we can't keep spending $500 to have these kind of meetings. It's just, so if you invite us, we will be there.
Better solutions. And there's also many other issues that come into play. We talked about the gender identity. That's a major issue. There are textbooks that are going out to elementary children, pre-kindergarten. It's very objectionable material.
Exactly.
It's literally pornography.
Yeah, somebody had forwarded a list to us with 44 books on it that are known for, that contain pornography as defined by Florida statute, that are approved by the Department of Education to be used in the school system, including 50 Shades of Grey.
I think we need to let the governor decide this to know. It's critical.
I just got something in, I have that. I just got something today about the libraries, not what district it was. They, someone found that the books in the library had a lot of pornographic material in it.
Yes.
And they wanted to get the list. So for months now, they tried to, through Freedom of Information, to get the list of the books that are there in the libraries, and they have not been successful. So another, an attorney group agreed to take that on and has now sued that district. I think that was Broward County.
Yeah.
I just got that, just before I came here, I just got that information. So people are starting to stand up, and we should do that here in this county. It's time. It's way beyond time. The problem is that people don't know. People don't know what's going on.
I just want to finish the statement that I was about to make before when the microphone was removed. We are shooting far too low with critical race theory. The problem that the people here have in this county is an authoritarian school board. It's their way or the highway. They have people coming to these meetings going by their school rules for the kids, wearing these masks and sitting there waiting for their opportunity to talk. There ought to be a lot more parents in here, not just grandparents. And I don't even have any skin in the game. But I don't like authoritarians at all, and they certainly don't belong in the school system. And to just go after critical race theory and say, well, we don't want this. No, let's throw them out. They have done enough in the last 17 days of the school year by making those kids wear masks to be charged with child abuse in the aggregate under
I don't like authoritarians either.
Thanks, Brad.
There should be more
I
parents
think
in
a
the
lot of
schools.
these issues, CRT, sex education,
She's
and I don't have an answer here, I'm just throwing this out. It seems like we're gonna need attorneys, attorney groups at some point to actually have some clout. Tossing it out here, does anybody know attorney groups, including this lady that was just on, Danielle? Maybe it's out there on the Facebook group, I don't know. But we're gonna need attorneys at some point to let's say, have clout. They don't fear us if we're just walking around going, no, I don't like this. You know, they told us, I mean, Legato just denied it anyway. So, you know, what do we do besides just
Okay,
have
but
an agreement to
that's
disagree?
something that we can, that part we can handle. We can vote out that board and get the new board in. But in the meantime, I feel it is very important that the existing board knows exactly how we feel and that it's going to be reflected at the vote.
Maybe suing them individually, collectively, whatever it would take, might get their attention, is what I'm saying.
Well, yes, that's one way to approach it. Also, if you bring it to their attention, you give them a chance to cure it, or correct it, maybe they'll respond. And if they respond, you avoid the antagonism, which could be a better way to handle it. So, I've been a board member.
What? I can't hear anything. I don't know if it's the headphones. I'm getting feed though.
And she's confirming just what I said. If we approach the board with numbers, they'll at least listen to it, consider it, and take a look at it, and hopefully make a change. And that's a better way to handle it. I mean, if litigation is necessary, we can always go that route at some point, but that would be. And right now,
yes,
it's us.
I'd like to raise some of the questions that the Zoom people have, since they're not there and able to raise their hand. Can we see if we can get the mic so I can ask some of the questions that they're asking?
sure, yes.
Thanks.
Hi, it's Nadine again. If I had a child in the school and I found that my children would be teaching or being taught CRT garbage, I would pull them out immediately and insist that every parent pull their child out, take them home, explain to them the evils of CRT. There's no such thing as oppressed versus oppressor. There is nothing in CRT.
They know,
that says
Danielle, they'll
just
be getting
because the
here.
color of your skin, you shouldn't be entitled to reach your goals if you want to be an astronaut, a president. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. Not at all. I say every parent, pull your kids out and let these people know you're the boss, not them.
Nice.
This training we're talking about, and the equal opportunity schools at this point are training for teachers. That equal opportunity schools is a 4-year program, and the creators of that, I believe, is Loretta Hamilton, are actually racists themselves. They think that there's systemic racism in America, and we have to change that. Everything is bad, tear it all down. That's something she has, and she has made those statements. Go ahead, Sue.
Okay, Danielle would like to say a few things to address the chat room. Go ahead, Danielle.
So some of the Zoom people have some questions here that they've been chatting through the chat through. So Mark, one of the things people have been asking is if they can, because they are not there tonight, they would like to set up an appointment with you and Arlene so that they can get specifics of what was in that book that you guys think is critical race theory, because what they heard tonight were not specifics of critical race theory from that book, and they don't feel that that book has anything to do with critical race theory. So is there a time slot or something that people can do to reach out to you guys to set up an appointment with you all?
Yeah, Arlene has an email address you can write to, arleneglance4education@gmail.com.
Say it again.
Arlene Glance 4, the number 4, education@gmail.com. If we get a number of people that are asking the same kind of questions and want to look at the same things, we can meet, let's say at a Panera's or at a somewhere, or they have big tables there.
They would also like to know the title of the book, the author of the book, and can you post specific pages of concern from this training on Facebook? So maybe in Fix Hernando Schools, can you post specific pages of the concern from this training book? A lot of them want to know what, or somebody wants to know what can they do if they can't make school board meetings?
Okay. I would be very careful about making a lot of copies of pages in the book, or even some, because this is registered, this is copyright, and I don't want to get in trouble, with copyright. So, I mean, to show someone this is something, but, to actually put it out there is, quite another thing. This is mine, and, so this is not going anywhere, this is mine, but I really.
They don't want copies of the pages. They just want to know the specific page numbers out of the book. They're going to get the book themselves, I guess, and they want to know the specific page numbers of where the content is that you feel is inappropriate.
Okay, I mean, legally, I don't know.
There is a woman here who said she's one to screenshot the book that she has and post it on.
Okay, I just want you to be aware, it's copyright. Okay.
Anything else, Danielle?
No, I think that would be it. Some people want to know where they can buy the book, but the district had the book, and I know that there was only a few left. Miss Arlene bought one. I know Miss Pam Everett and I jointly bought one, and they told us it was the last one they have. But if Mark and Arlene can just give you the publisher's name and the title of the book, you guys can feel free to look it up online and see if you can buy it online somewhere.
I know that someone, but I can give you the numbers on that also. It's called Equity in Education from the Inside Out. It's the participant guide. It's Franklin Covey / Education, Equity in Education from the Inside Out Participant Guide. And it has a number on here that's EDU 194. I can't see this.
Get a young person.
The last thing I'm going to address is to all the people on Zoom that are asking if the training class is on video. It is not. It was done through the district. You can feel free to do the same public records request that Arlene took her time out to do. Those lists that she has are directly from public records requests from the district, so they cannot be made up. It says who attended and on what day and how long the classes were. And Tina, you are saying that they're avoiding giving the page numbers. You guys asked for them to post them online, so you got to give them some time to do that after the meeting. And the text that they find alarming so that you can view it objectively, again, those are the page numbers and they will be posting them. We will get to all of that. And from there, that is all we are going to ask for from everybody on Zoom. I will not be asking for anything else. So thank you, everybody. And Mark will get the PowerPoint to Jack. I will ask him to do that. So everything else is taken care of. Thank you, everybody on Zoom.
Oh, and Brevard happens to be one of them.
Also, Mark.
Over here, Mark.
Okay.
Also on Zoom, they want to know if they can have a copy of the PowerPoint.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's Franklin Covey, Equity in Education from the Inside Out. Inside it had the number in there, EDU, all caps, 1945237, version 1.1.8.
I was wondering, do you know if the teachers are being forced to be a part of these programs yet? Because if it's illegal to put it in the curriculum and they're sneaking it in through the teachers' training, do we have any protections for these teachers for that?
I don't know how professional development works, if they're required to take this particular professional development session. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Hold on, right? I think there's only no other real questions. And okay, we got Travis, one last one.
I still want to.
We have a lot of older people here, a lot of us are retired. I like Nadine's idea, they get money for every kid that goes to school. If they want your kids to wear a mask, you take them out, and I'll volunteer to babysit. You find me a place, we'll get 500 in a room, and I'll bet you I can find some other grandmothers and grandfathers in here. That if we boycott them,
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a question. It's just true. And, when you were giving them those points about where they were about color,
God is truth. God has no skin color. Jesus has no skin color. They're all the same. God is truth. And that's a fact, that's true. You have feelings and emotions based on feelings, but not facts, and truth is God.
So we would like everybody who can to come to the board meeting next Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, 919 North Broad Street, opposite the Cloverleaf, the development on Broad Street, 6 o'clock.
And please, please say something. Mark had told me previously that they have to give it up to an hour. Is that correct? Right, so, let's get as many people up there as possible. So if one person kind of expands on it, the next person could, let's get as many people to oppose this as possible. So let's not have one person monopolize the whole time. Let's get all of us out there.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna go. Thank you.